Welcome everyone, it's Vapor Strigmar. It's time for some more Raid Shadow Legends. I did not realize I got that reward, but hey. Can we get something stupidly ridiculous? That's pretty much what I expected. No. I pretty much expected rubbish. Honestly, what was I thinking? We gotta climb further up the Doom Tower. Starting with the Magma Dragon. So, in the Magma Dragon, we're going to do something very special today. We're going to try a special setup. And hopefully we can beat it and climb further up the tower with our terrible, wave clear setup. I'm going to chip away at the duchesses. Because the duchesses are going to be a problem. In general. So you want to keep track of the duchesses at all times. This is made vastly quicker with Seer, obviously, which the other account has. Why? Because Seer does enemy max HP for the boss and deals with the terrible waves. So, Seer does the 2 for the price of 1, but I haven't done the Doom Tower, completed it on this account. So guess what that means? We're doing it on this account. But no, we're not going to be building Anointed. Anointed is terrible champion. Not useful at all. Not useful at all, except for food. Some champions are only meant to be sacrificed to other champions, and that's one of them. Beauregard, though, it's a different story, because Beauregard has very specific uses. See, Beauregard, right? Beauregard's very specific use has to do with Beauregard's very specific use has to do with the fact that he has a lot of resist he grants on your team. which can be very useful in difficult fights, like versus the Magma Dragon. And that's also where Ultimate Death Knight comes in. With his Provoke. And it's not even that bad of a Provoke, honestly. It's not even that bad. We want to save the Provoke constantly for the boss. We can't burn this thing to death. Or I would. But we're not doing that today. But we gotta keep the Provoke on. If it's a slow team, Provoke. Okay, pro tip. The slower your team is, the more you need to have Provoke on it. Like the longer it takes for you to kill this boss, the more you need the Provoke to have a high uptime. Because the more time you give this boss, the worse it becomes for you. That is the bitter reality about this boss. Because in order to survive this boss, you're going to want Provoke and Decrease Attack. You'll need it more and more consistent, and more damage mitigation, depending on a number of factors. But you do want that. As the difficulty of this boss goes up, it gets worse, not better. At least it prevents the burn. Now you're like, what's the point of preventing the burn? Well, the burn means that more people, the more burns, right, are on your team, the worse this boss gets. There we go, getting that enemy max HP smack. Got to keep the boss occupied and trying to get that on there. See, the second this boss starts getting going, it starts to become a lot more dangerous. See, and that extra resist is helping out. Keeping that resist up. As you can see, this boss hits incredibly hard. You want to limit what it can do to just its bites. Its bites aren't too harmful. But everything else about this boss is murderous. Wish that provoked. Okay, did not put as many. As the burns triggers his passive. That's the main thing. You don't want this guy's passive starting to trigger on your whole team. Because that's how your team wipes. Even Ultimate Death Knight cannot stand the full impact of this guy's passive. So in order to stop that, you want someone like Beauregard to increase the resistance of this boss. This crazy boss. I don't even know how it sees out of its beady eyes. Okay, got the provoke. Get the provoke again. Try to get him to focus the main. This may seem like a trivial matter until you realize what this boss is capable of. And then it won't be so funny anymore. Then you're like, oh no. No, 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 no. This boss is the very same. It's the very same boss that I put Godseeker in here, and for good reason. Now I got the provoke. Get the provoke again. If I could get a provoke off of that, that would have been great. Getting the provoke could have stopped that. Because all of his best damage happens when he breathes fire, not when he's provoked. When he's provoked, the threat level is dramatically reduced. That's why the provoke is so important. Smacking it. Sinister allies. That rune of energy keeps that resistance up. Get that going. Get a despair off. The Visix is merely for the provoke mostly. Because you can't turn meter control it. There, provoke you. There we go. And a 5-star chicken to boot. Alright. So here we can go a little more liberal on the damage. I'll go for maybe her, actually. I know that's a little bit whack, but just bear with me. Get the Fury Tremor in there. Get that. Get that decreased defense going. So much freezes up here. It's getting frosty. That. Get that percussive pound. we go. These floors are going to start to get really brutal, so I'm going to call it after this floor. Because the climb up each one of these floors is so deliberate, it might as well be its own climb. I'm not jesting. You think I'm joking. Like, these waves up here are not a joke. They're really painful. Like, look at this. Look at this stuff, man. Gergo, the Argos, and get the Fury Tremor in there. If I had a Seer, this would be done. This would be over and done several times over, but we don't have a Seer, so we have to work with what we got. Just trust me. When this account eventually gets a Seer or an Ethos or something like that, we're not going to have as much issue. But until that day comes, yup. Until that day comes, we're just going to be doing this and trying to get past these waves and praying. Praying we can get it to work. Get that Fury Tremor. We will be continuing this in the next episode. Up into the boss.